Thank you for watching the replay. This is Monica Kliosaki, an image and brand strategist. This is my assistant today. I'm not sure what her name is. Anyway, I help women take charge of their image, heal their invisibility, and turn their hidden leader identity into a disco ball. And today I have a very special guest with me, and this is Simone Grace-Seol. She is a hypnosis life coach and a bold and brilliant hypnosis life coach. And she worked through the self-magic branding method, and she got phenomenal results. And we're gonna share with you today what made her start this journey, the emerging of her brand and the specific kind of imagery she created, what surprised her the most working together in this process. And and I have here in my notes that we had to pre-record this for time zones and stuff, but who cares? We're gonna be here excited the same way. So let me bring her on, Simone. And the first thing I ask her is, how come you signed up? Let's hear
So
it.
I had a lot of great ideas. I knew that I have a great service that I can help lots of people with, and I had a lot of people who trust me and follow me, and I was very clear about who I am and what I provide. But when I looked at how I look across social media, like if you look at my Instagram, if you look at my photos on Facebook, just visually, I didn't feel like how I was presenting visually reflected my energy, reflected my outgoing, unique, idiosyncratic personality. My visuals did not look like that. My visuals just made me look like a random person. So I wanted my visuals to match the energy that I was bringing to my people with my words and my actual voice. So, and I knew that you are somebody who could help me do that. So
How do you match the visuals that you have now with your written posts? How do you do that?
okay, that's a really good question. So as you taught me to do, I have a bank of images that is self-replenishing, and I just have this giant repository of amazing, fresh, unique images, many of me and some not of me, that I can pull from, that don't look like stock photos, that have so much personality. And when I write a new post, and I have a piece of text that I want to share, I just go through my image bank and just see like what picture kind of energetically matches the content of what I'm trying to say. So for example, if I'm writing a post about holding yourself back and inhibiting yourself on social media, then I might go find a picture where I'm kind of like doing like a pose that's sort of inhibiting and shrinking. Or if I'm saying embrace your uniqueness and don't be afraid to be wild, if I'm saying something like that, I will pick a picture that just looks wild, right? A post is always more interesting to look at if there's a face attached to it, right? And I think that really works well. People enjoy my posts. They engage a lot more, and they get a much better sort of visceral understanding of what I'm trying to communicate through my facial expressions, through the props, through what I'm doing with my body, in a way that they wouldn't have if they just read words.
Soon after we started working together, you put up a challenge and you created a Facebook group, Fearless on Facebook, and now it's going to be Fearless on social media, and it's a very bubbling and amazing group. And one of the things that I loved seeing is the image that you created for this group, for the prompt for the group. And I just always felt that, tell me a little bit about that. How did you choose? How did you choose? Because what I did see in your choice is that if I told you, or if you were sitting with, brainstorming what image you could come up, right, to put for your Facebook group, or what image, right?
Yeah, it would have been totally different. different. I wouldn't have come up with that. And here's the thing, every time you gave me an assignment to do a photo shoot, it was never for like a purpose except to play with an idea. And for that particular thing, it was like play with the color red, right? And so I got some red paint and I started getting messy with it. And there's all these pictures. And with every single other photo shoot that I've done, there's always an idea that I'm playing with. And the reason that I think my images are so good and they pop and they communicate so much is that I'm not trying to communicate a message. Like, it's not like strategic. I'm just playing. And so there is that lightness, there's this creativity, there's life to the pictures, which makes them both more memorable and more kind of like versatile, because like I reused the same images for different posts, and it's because like it just carries a certain energy that could go for this or that could go for that. So I think that's one of the like genius things about the work that you led me through too.
Yeah, and you also did like amazing implementation, and now you're having your podcast and you're using this image also for this podcast. One of the things that you told me that our work helped you do is increase your voice. Mm-hmm. And also that was like me just seeing you week after week really unfold and really raise your voice literally and visually. And how do you think imagery is helping with raise one's voice or find your message? How is that related?
I think visual expression of yourself is one of the fastest ways for you to find where your own blocks are, because people can feel a lot freer with writing, but when it comes to like taking pictures of themselves, they're like, oh well, I don't want to take pictures of them. You know, it's like, what is up with that, right? And because the thing is, when you are taking pictures of yourself, you actually have to literally embody whatever it is that you think you embody. And thinking that you embody something and actually embodying it is very different. For example, one of the things that we work through together is me embodying my sexuality, right? Like my sexiness. And in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, of course, I consider myself an empowered woman and I'm comfortable with my sexuality and all of that. But if you challenge me to have like a sexy photo shoot by myself with like wearing something that reveals a lot of skin, I was like, can't do that, right? And so in the end I did, but that's the thing. It's like intellectually thinking, oh yeah, I'm on board with that. I'm this kind of person. Well, then show me with your body, right? With your face. Because if it's not, because then you really have to be you have to be that. And I think that's why working with images and playing with images and selfies is such a brilliant way to get over your own bullshit and like notice where your bullshit is in the first place and get over it, because there's no way, like you can't hide with your body, with your face. And so through the process of playing with ideas and props and taking pictures in the spirit of play, when you look at the pictures that you've taken of yourself, and when you look at the whole like slideshow of all the things that you've done, you literally see a different version of yourself. You have like visual evidence of like, oh, there's me like being super sexy. There's me being very polished. There's me being playful. Here's me being powerful. And that registers subliminally, unconsciously, in such a more visceral, powerful way than just thinking thoughts. So when I went through this whole process, embracing different aspects of my personality, different parts of the truth of who I was, then I really, really had to own it. And through the process of image making, I did own it much more. And that came out in so many different ways that I was showing up to my business. It came out in just my overall like upgrade in authenticity and energy. And that made me like such a better leader that people wanted to like follow, because they can see that I was really owning every aspect of myself.
I have another opt-in and another free thing you're offering, amazing, which is about unsolicited copy tips, which were really insane because you're such an insane writer. And I love the image you use for that thing. And I think, I think it's another example of if you sat with an advertising agency, right? And you
Would
would
have
think,
never.
what would we put on the unsolicited copy guide?
Would have been something boring as hell.
Maybe it wasn't boring, but it wouldn't be that, right? It
Yeah,
wouldn't
it would
be
be
that.
that. And there's a funny thing is that when I took that picture in particular, I was 5,000% sure that I would never share it. I thought this is just for me. Like it's just play for me. There's no way anybody else is going to see it because it was too much. It was like way too much at the moment. And then I was like, well, what if I did share it? And then I got brave and shared it in different contexts and the world didn't end. I didn't get kicked out of the internet. Like that's what I thought was going to happen, but none of that happened. And it's like, I'm inviting you to like peek at my legs. It's like, I'm like drawing you in like, huh, look. And that's what I think good copy should be like. That makes you go, oh, right? And so that was such a playful thing. And imagine if that book had a very different cover, if that book had like a nice, whatever, flowers and pens and coffee cup kind of cover, it would have been a very different product. So that image turned my book into a different thing.
Not only it would have been a different product, it would have been a product that looks like all the other products that are out there. What was the thing that surprised you the most about the Self Magic work?
So it didn't feel like branding strategy. It felt like psychoanalysis almost. In the sense that the bulk of the work was getting like it's really like finding who I really am. From day one, it's like a very deep dive into like the deepest depths of who I am and what I'm about, not just as a businesswoman and in my professional capacity, but who I am as a human being, who I am as a woman. And I was like, I didn't sign up for this. And there were multiple points and I was like, this is really intense. Like, why are we talking about my divorce? Like, what? And it was like, really, that was really unexpected. But because we went there, like all the way there, what I came back out with was so much more powerful. Like that's why it had the transformative effect that it had on me and on my business, because it wasn't like skin deep. It wasn't just surface, let's make things pretty. It's about like, let's dig down to who you really are and make your branding reflect the complexity and the truth of that in a way that makes it really clear for everybody else. Wow, I like just gave you so much amazing copy and it's all
no,
true.
You did. Like I'm transcribing like every word. Okay, and last thing, like what are you gonna keep doing this work? Like, are you gonna keep taking your own pictures?
Of course. Yeah, I thought about like upgrading to better equipment, like a better camera instead of my iPhone, etc. And it's like one day I might, but I'm constantly going back to the learning material that I had with you to jog my own creativity. And I can't imagine doing things a different way now. Like I feel like the way I show up to my branding is just forever going to be different because now I now know how to do this. And I think if you're in any way interested in like a better visual branding for yourself, I think like honestly Monica hasn't paid me to say this, but working with Monica it's like you would be insane not to make this investment, because imagine having like a lifetime's worth of like amazing fresh photos that just like superpower your image and your message, that don't look like anybody else's, that are not cookie cutter, that nobody can forget once they see it. And you just have enough for like a lifetime of your business. And it's like, think of like that to me, that's like the best investment ever. Like it's insane how valuable that is, right? I think if you are any kind of creative entrepreneur, you need this, like there's only, this is the best way to stand out on the internet, on social media today. because everybody else looks so cookie cutter. Like professional photo shoots, they all look the freaking same. You're like on a field and you're like, ah, and you're like holding a coffee cup and you're like, you have a pen, or you're like on your MacBook, and like, it's like everybody looks the same. And like, how are you gonna make yourself memorable? Like, if you want people to remember you, you need to work with Monica.
Not like laughing my
Do you know what I mean? They're always like, right? And they're like laughing, like they're always like so happy to be typing into their laptops. They're like, I'm like, nobody is that happy writing an email. Get real. And also, here's another thing, is that I thought visual branding was optional. Like, I thought it was like a nice extra thing to have, but I really don't think it is an extra nice luxury. I think it's vital. Like, the internet, more than ever, social media speaks a visual language. If you have a business that markets through social media, image branding is not optional, and you need to stand out via images. So I wish Monica were paying me to say this, but I'm not. But I think everybody should work with her.
Simone, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you for being a genius and for making such a huge difference in my life and business.
Let's keep up the magic.
We will. The self magic.
The self magic, of course. Self magic brings all magic.
That's true.
It does. Yeah. How was that? Am I muted? Let me check. Well, looks like it's okay. So, wasn't that fun, right? If you just jumped in, I urge you to watch it from the beginning, because it's good. All of it is good. Every sentence is good. Simone is really amazing. She's implemented the self-magic way in ways I could not imagine. And well, actually I could imagine, but she was an AAA student. It was so incredible to see her unfoldment, really, and also how far that happened. So it was just an incredible journey. If you want to tune into a little more about what is the Self-Magic Woman Way, I have a free audio masterclass. Go to my website. Go here, monicakliosaki.com/play, and you can just listen to it. It's about a 20-minute audio only, and it gives you a little more, details. If this speaks to you, if that's interesting for you, please share it with people. And that was very exciting, and I'll come back here with to tell more about the Self-Magic Woman Way and Self-Magic Branding Method, how it works, who is it for, and what it really does to you. And but thank you again, Simone. It was such an amazing first of all interview, and such an amazing journey to go along with her. And thank you for watching this. If you have any questions, please type them below, and I'll get back to you. Bye for now. Bye.